Okay, recording this video after close of trade Thursday, 19th of January 2012, and just thought I'd do an overview of the market before tacking on my day trade for today. Daily chart of the E-mini, 1.5 million contracts traded, and you can see it was a high volume churn day today, which means relatively high volume compared to the range of the day. Typically kind of profit taking, and we did have a very high average trade size today, but don't think this trend is over. We could just be finding a little bit of resistance. Think it'll do a little bit of a pop tomorrow. But let me go through my charts and show you what I'm looking at. Just kind of a longer term chart of the E-mini here. This is just the continuous contract day and night session. You can see kind of the broader picture, what's going on. You know, first of all, we had our big sell-off back in August here. We kind of retested back in October, flush patterns down here, and you can see all the blue professional bars coming in at the lows. Then we had another test down, another flush pattern. This was end of November here, and a Rambo pattern right at the bottom there, just showing that the amateurs were getting wrong-footed. Kind of headed off in the opposite direction to find another Rambo pattern here, so we're in some kind of consolidation phase here. And then when, you know, coming up to Christmas time, we came into 1200, we found support and we've moved through there. Some amateur bars into the end of the year, into the new year, just because there was you know, kind of less professional trading going on. But what we've done is we've poked on through this cyclical resistance level on the daily chart, and we're kind of moving up into an uptrend. And you can see, because we've had our sell-off, our flush patterns and so on, you know, we need to see something like that in terms of blow-off activity, either on the daily chart or maybe a 135-minute chart. And we've not exactly seen it in this kind of higher time frames. I think on the lower time frame tip bar charts, yes, we're topping potentially tomorrow, Friday, for some period, but you know, I think that'll just be, you know, some breathing space before continuing on. If you look at this in terms of better X trend, trailing stop, you know, based on exhaustion volume here, it's kind of trailing us up. Last couple of days, some exhaustion buying volume. So we've kind of got 1286 as kind of the bottom of this range here. Don't think it's going to break that and go into a downtrend, but you know, we've had a little bit of exhaustion at the moment, so we might kind of come off somewhat. And then this is average trade size just for today, about 5.4 contracts traded. You know, in the whole scheme of things, when we look back historically, it's not a huge number, but compared to what we've seen in the last 6 months, it is a big number. So you know, that just shows some profit taking at the highs. And over the last several days, you know, last week and a half, you know, we have had some high average trade size here and some profit taking kind of going on. But I think the rally will continue, and this is why. You know, so on the daily chart, we've broken above cyclical resistance, so we're in uptrend here, looking for this to be caught some way. You know, we're above it on the weekly chart here, and even if we go down on the 135-minute chart, we're above resistance here into you know, a trend move. So this thing is not over until we see pullback to end of trend. So we might have some weakness, you know, Monday, Tuesday, coming into a pullback level to go on and finally make an end of trend. But you know, until we see that, this uptrend is not over. You can see it in a whole bunch of other charts as well. So if you look at the risk-off charts, you know, a lot of them are kind of maxed out and starting to go the other way. So this is dollar index. Here we had pullback to end of trend sequence up at 82. Weaker and weaker buying, a little amateur bar right at the top there, and we've kind of dropped off a little bit from there. And all of this was kind of being pumped up based on the exhaustion selling and bullish divergence. The last one that we had here, you know, we had a whole bunch of them kind of previously. I've talked about this, the way this chart has bottomed over the last 6 months. I don't think the rally in the dollar index is over, but you know, we're just finding some pause at least on the daily chart. And then when you go to the bond charts, so all of them look fairly similar. This is the 30-year bonds. Same thing, you know, resistance, cyclical resistance kind of come in here. You know, we found it very difficult to get through this level. So we had professional profit taking here. We come back with a Rambo pattern, amateurs getting wrong-footed here. Last few days coming into this cyclical resistance. You can see there are the blue professional up bars, bang, hit resistance, kind of fall off a little bit. So, you know, we're kind of maxing out here. And I'm interested in the interest rates. I'm wondering if they've kind of bottomed, you know, really not historic lows, but, you know, close to. I mean, I think it's really, you know, quite important what's happening on the interest rate kind of side of things. So this kind of move in the bond contracts is, you know, it's looking interesting. I think we will test back up at some point, but this is an important point kind of going forward. If you look at the risk on charts, they're looking to break out into uptrends. This is crude oil. We kind of pulled back over the last few days. Blue professional bars. I mean, this was all these stories of Straits of Hormuz and so on. It was just an opportunity for the professionals to kind of scare people out at $100. And they kind of step in, and the market's kind of looking strong, maybe kind of breaking out through 100, 105 into an uptrend here. And again, similar pattern to the equities. It's like we've had our sell-off, we've had our flush signals kind of here testing into the blue professional bars at the lows, and we've set off in this uptrend. We're just finding lack of buying at the moment, but this 104, 105 level is going to be important as a break point kind of going forward. Aussie dollar, I mean, this thing is just lining up underneath this resistance level here, kind of waiting for a bit of a pop. Same story, exhaustion selling, bullish divergence, flush patterns right down here at the lows. Looks like it's going to break. Euro's not made kind of a pullback to end of trend sequence, but you can see during this last week all these blue professional bars came in at 128, kind of holding this move. Amateurs getting wrong-footed, Rambo patterns kind of down here. We had all the, if I'd read one news story over the new year, I'd read 100 saying the euro was toast, and of course what's it done? It's held at 128, maybe scaring out all of the sellers. At that point we're putting in a little bit of a rally. At some point it's got to get caught with a pullback to an end of trend and a downtrend kind of move, but where that's going to be, and it's interesting the professionals kind of caught it right now. Copper's had a great little run. I mean, this is similar to what we're just looking at in the Aussie dollar. Underneath resistance, blue professional bars kind of push on through, jumping the creek, bang, we kind of get going here. And again, we've had our sell-off. We've had our flush signals, another sell-off here, bullish divergence, and kind of testing back, blue professional bars here, now setting off into an uptrend. And there we go, back at crude. So I mean, all of that's looking fairly bullish in terms of risk on charts, which means the run in equities looks like it's still got some legs. I mean, you might have some profit taking Monday, Tuesday, but still looks fairly good. And a few days ago, I did this chart series of charts just based on what was happening in the financials, and they were kind of seemingly bottoms, and we've had some good numbers come out of some of the financials, or at least some good kind of trend resumption. So here's Goldman Sachs, pull back to end of trend, had our exhaustion selling, flush signals kind of come in here, flush with a Rambo pattern, bang, another exhaustion selling signal, just getting rid of all of the sellers at this point down at the kind of 90 level, and then bang, we break through cyclical resistance, couple of blue professional bars kind of getting this move kind of going to the upside. And that kind of pattern, you can see that on a whole bunch of kind of financials kind of going forward. This looks kind of one of the strongest. Interestingly, I was kind of putting this up against Apple and just saying, Apple may have not run its course, but just in terms of people, fund managers maybe moving out of stocks that have been extremely strong during 2011 into things that have been beaten down over 2011, and so Apple today had a little bit of a weakness, and you just see this in terms of the bearish divergence signals kind of going on, just showing lack of buying at these highs. So in terms of my day trade today, just put on one trade. Yesterday I lost a couple of points, the day before lost a couple of points. I'm just finding it difficult to get back into the swing of things here. And today was a little bit tricky to kind of find the trend to start with. So we had, pre the open here, we had a whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of seemingly taking profits here. We tested back up into a Rambo pattern here, and that was just before the Philly Fed survey numbers kind of came out at 9 a.m. and then bang, it kind of sold off pretty hard. But professionals came in and bought it. We had exhaustion selling. This level at 1304 kind of held, and then we kind of got going into this little uptrend. And I bought the pullback here at 1306.75, and then came out after 3 points up at here at 975. I was quite happy with that exit. That was quite nice. It did make it eventually to 4+ points on the upside here, but I was quite happy to take profits there and just be done for the day. So one trade, 3 points. So kind of just good for my confidence. And then the market kind of seemingly just didn't do much of anything, kind of moving between fairly large ranges. Bit of a big sell-off at the end of the day, but we kind of bounced from there. And last chart I'm going to show you, just the 13,500 tip bar chart. Just be aware of this. So on this tip bar chart, we've had our exhaustion buying. We've kind of come back. It was quite extreme selling at this point into the end of the day into a pullback level. So I think Fridays have a little bit of bullish tendencies. I can see us doing a pullback to end of trend on Friday and kind of maxing out. And that's kind of good for the professionals in terms of psychologically. They get the kind of the amateurs psyched up over the weekend. They come in on Monday morning and they can use that opportunity to kind of take profits into amateur buying after they've kind of decided to get back into equities over the weekend, that kind of thing. So anyway, still think we're into we're in the this uptrend is not over, although I could see us having some profit taking again tomorrow and then kind of maybe pulling back Monday, Tuesday. Hope your trading's going well. I'm going to tag on my day trades for today, and tomorrow I'm going to do an update on better X trend. Okay, just got along 675 and just checking my stops and targets. And what is it, 9:28 AM. Just been waiting and waiting and waiting all day for some kind of a setup, a trend direction kind of signal. Philly Fed survey came out at 9 AM and into, here we go, kind of breaking out now. So after the open, we had a really kind of weak rally for the 15 minutes kind of leading into that Philly Fed survey number, and you can see led by the amateur bars here, amateur up bars into a Rambo pattern, cyclical resistance, and we kind of fell off. But coming into 1302, you can see all the professionals coming back in, picking it up. Exhaustion selling kind of down here. The reason I've gone long is we're heading all the way back up to that kind of sell zone, but the blue professional bars were happening, kind of acquiring on these lows. We've not seen any on the way up. On the 500 tip bar chart, we've seen a couple at 1307, but then this little kind of pullback is coming up to some kind of cyclical support. Little blue professional bar kind of came in the flush signal as well. So I'm guessing that we're actually going to break above the resistance level on the 1500 tip bar chart and move into an uptrend. We've had no kind of trend moves yet today on the 500 tip bar chart, nothing kind of decent after the open. It's just been kind of cyclical moves, large cyclical moves, and I think this is our break into an uptrend here, first on the 500 tip bar chart and then hopefully onto the 15. So we'll see. Blue professional bars here on the 45 could just be acquiring, kind of they're acquiring on the way down at 30.04 and then kind of buying this breakout and this little kind of retrace here. So that's what I'm hoping for. So just long 1306.75. A minute later, broken up to 775 here. A couple of Rambo patterns. Just the one here is showing a little bit of weakness. Pull back to end of trend signal here. So we'll have end of trend kind of go off around here somewhere, but we've got a little bit of a ways to go on the 4500 tip bar chart in terms of the cyclical move, and no blue professional bars yet on the 1500 tip bar chart. We're kind of breaking up above this resistance level here, so looking for 1075 just up here. So hopefully see what this pre-open kind of high was around 1309, so 1075 would be a right place to kind of take profits, but because of this Rambo pattern, just seeing a little bit of weakness at the moment. So, okay, a couple of minutes later, we just settled down after that kind of Rambo pattern here, end of trend signal, bearish divergence kind of came in, but kind of just held at 1307. Cyclical support's just coming at 500. We're having another run for this at 775 here. Again, no blue professional bars on the 1500 tip bar chart. We're just breaking above resistance here, so hoping to kind of head into a little explosive kind of move. Still got the 4500 tip bar chart in our favor in terms of cycles here. So let's get a little bit of a break and see some kind of fireworks here as we kind of breach this other high, which was 825, so half a point away from it. There'll be a bunch of stops just above that, so let's see what's going to happen next. Okay, well there we go. At 8.25 we had a little bit of kind of activity. A couple of blue professional bars come up on the 1500 tip bar chart, but we're past resistance here, so this has got to run till we get a cyclical turn on the 4500 tip bar chart. And there's always going to be a little bit of technical weakness around a previous high or low, so there's a little bit of kind of people trying to take double tops, all that kind of type trading. But anyway, we're heading back, continue up. 1309. The reading down here on the exhaustion selling signal on the 1500 tip bar chart was about negative 11,000. We're up at 8 here, and blue professional bars, so we'll have some kind of pro signal exit kind of go off soon, but I'm just hoping to get a little bit lucky and for this to get a little bit more kind of parabolic as we head above 1309. Okay, I'm just adjusting my target to 975. Reason for doing that, a whole bunch of blue professional bars coming on the 1500 tip bar chart. There's our pro signal exit just gone off here. That was exhaustion buying signal, pretty high reading, about 14,000, which kind of mirrors the 12,000 that we got on the at the bottom of this move. And blue professional bars kind of come in here. This is second cyclical turn after end of trend on the 500 tip bar chart. I suppose I'm just hoping for a final kind of hurrah above 1309. I was kind of into this trend move pretty late, considering it's run from 1301. So just hoping for a final kind of dash up here. But 1075 on this way up seems a little bit of a stretch. But 975 is potentially doable on a little bit of a kind of exhaustion move. So let's just see. Bingo, just taken out at 975 for 3, which is good. And you can see just coming up into those highs, Rambo pattern there. So it's a good place to take profits. Quite happy with that. And you can see all these blue professional bars kind of coming into this cyclical turn. So, and bearish divergence just went off on the 1500 tip bar chart here. So we'll get some weakness after that, and setting up for some kind of trend change, I'd have thought. Anyways, that's 9:53 a.m. Pretty slow day. Wasn't really kind of clear as to what the trend was, so that's the reason for kind of not jumping in kind of early in the day. And to be honest, that's one trade 3 points. I'm quite happy with that. Still kind of slowly easing into my trading, so probably going to leave it there. Anyway, I hope you traded well today. Just a couple of minutes later, and at 975, I think I was pretty lucky. It was almost like the top tick here. So after that, markets kind of retraced, almost 1.5, 2 points from there. And you can see now cyclical resistance on the 45s kind of coming with exhaustion buying. You see all these blue professional bars kind of coming into those highs. Same deal on the 1500 tip bar chart. Exhaustion buying, first bearish divergence here, kind of setting up for a reversal. And on the 500 tip bar chart, I think, what was this? We had end of trend, second cyclical turn after end of trend, kind of poked above it, Rambo pattern here. Because this first exhaustion signal here came not on this shoulder, but at the end of trend, you're always looking for the second kind of turn after end of trend here. So, seemingly we're kind of rolling over, just kind of testing back with 5,000 on better momentum here. But let's see, it might be kind of reversal of trend happening here. But it's me done for the day anyway. So, but just quite happy I moved my target there to 9 3/4 and got out right here. Well, there you go, half an hour later, and the original target 1075 gets hit. This is where I got out at 975. We kind of retrace about 2.5 points here, pretty steep retrace, but then pull back and support at the breakout level on the 1500 tip bar chart kind of comes into play. Come back up, and we're up at 1075, just got hit. But you can see it's a lot weaker kind of buying going on here. We've had exhaustion buying, bearish divergence. It's not been a flush pattern, but it's looking like that in terms of weaker buying as we're making new highs. So kind of divergence setting up here, and then this will be an end of trend pattern at some point. But just sitting in the market waiting for that extra point for me just doesn't make sense. Time in the market is risk. So I'm quite happy to get out on kind of the meat of the move, and then kind of just wait and see what happens after that. It's probably going to set up for a reversal trade, but it's 10:30 in the morning, so the window for a reversal of the market kind of, in my mind, kind of starts to close around 11 o'clock. So not sure what's going to happen. It's a fairly quiet day, really.